think you
Well,
are.
I think it sounds like you are being intentionally stupid. I don't know like how many ways I could put this. Maybe we could go over like the history of the racist depiction of black people as apes, as monkeys. So I mean, this goes all the way back into into slavery cartoons, pro-segregation rhetoric, and anti-black propaganda ranging back into the 16th century. I mean, we even saw movements in the 17th and 18th century where we'd have European Christian evangelists, sorry, like rank the races, and they'd say that the closer you are to whiteness, the closer you are to purity, perfection, or divinity. Meanwhile, the closest you are to blackness, or if you are black, you're closer to the beasts of the wild. It's almost like a separation between the creation of the man, the white man, and then the creation of the beast, the black man. So this
Like
is
what the
why
fuck?
in slavery era cartoons and pro segregationalist rhetoric and anti-black propaganda for years, we see this depiction of a black person, as an ape, as a monkey. And this is very common sense. I really don't think I should have to be explaining why it's racist to depict a black person as an ape to anybody over the age of maybe 7. I mean, I think that you're a grown woman. You said that you're 18 years old, and I think that it's time you get a grip.
I'm not disagreeing with the sentiment that it's not racist. I'm disagreeing with the sentiment that it's unusual. Like, it's not out of the ordinary for someone to go and post something like that.
It's not out of the
You see it
ordinary
all
for
over.
people to be
You
really
see it all over
racist.
social media.
Well, I appreciate you for affirming that
Unfortunately,
it's
it's
not out
not.
of the ordinary to see a bunch of people be really racist. Yeah. But that doesn't do anything for your argument. You're just saying that racism is a really big problem because it's actually very typical and ordinary for white people to be racist, which I agree to.
This kind of ties back to what I was saying earlier when I asked you, do you think black people can be racist? Because I definitely do think they can be racist, but there's just been this new like rhetoric that only racists outside of black people can be racist, and I think that's just a
See,
bunch
and
of
that's how you know
false
you, because who
and
the fuck has ever
running.
said that? That's how you know she is
So I
racist.
don't know how that takeaway of yours was generated because we're actively talking about the president that you support, white man Donald Trump, making an embarrassment out of our country, mocking the progress that we've made towards racial equality, and as the president posting an incredibly racist, one of the most historically explicit and dangerous racial tropes on his personal Truth Social account. And your takeaway from this isn't to affirm that this is an example of the president of the United States of America being so incredibly and explicitly racist. You're not taking this as an opportunity to just kind of have a human moment with me here and connect on the fact that this is very well beneath the Oval Office. And the Oval Office, the presidency of the United States of America, should not symbolize, this racist caricature, deeming black people to be apes or gorillas, the same logic that led to segregation or slavery. But rather, you're taking this as an opportunity to actually ignore this racism and introduce a conversation about how you think black people can be racist. Before we talk about this notion that black people can be racist, let's first finish our conversation surrounding the fact that you are actively supporting a white man who's president who's making explicitly racist remarks comparing black people to gorillas.
Yeah, absolutely. But I would just like to address something first. If you guys are saying I'm 14, there's no evidence for that. If you do, send it over. You're not
And
gonna
just
find
just just
any. I'm
talk
not
just talk to
14,
me.
but
Talk to me. Don't talk to the chat. We've already addressed it. There's no evidence that you're 14 now. Please respond to what I said.
I think you see racism perpetuated on both sides, especially the
I'm so sorry.
Democratic side. You see,
We have never, not in my lifetime, had a president post one of the most explicit, historically explicit and dangerous racial tropes surrounding black people. The both sides argument simply does not work here. During the
Better
entirety
put
of the
gravy in
Biden-Harris
your. Whoa,
administration,
what the
we saw
fuck?
a commitment towards the advancement of racial equality. I understand, that Biden has been racist many
What
times
the
in his past.
fuck?
But the big difference here is that for the most part, Biden was able to recognize that what he's
That's
done in his
crazy.
past was racist. And he committed himself
There
to
goes
being a
YouTube
better
finally.
anti-racist person. And working with Kamala Harris alongside many of the Democrats in Congress, committed the mission of their administration to be towards the advancement of progressivism and racial equality. But now we see somebody who's like Trump, who's been very racist throughout his history, has has never apologized for any of it, owned up, or said that they want to be a better person, and is using that office of the presidency, the most powerful position available to anybody alive, okay, to post incredibly derogatory and racist depictions of black people as apes, while actively regressing us backwards, regressing racial equality, and now emboldening mask-off white supremacy and racism in this country by taking his mask off first.
Even if I was to agree with like everything you just said about Trump being explicitly like a bold racist, that would not be a reason why I think support from him should be. I don't. That wouldn't be a reason that I think anybody should stop supporting him.
Yeah, so then I just think that you're fundamentally a very shitty person with no
It's a
real
both sides
idea
issue.
of what's important for this country or the ways in which we should advance it. Because, I mean, you just said, even if I were to admit that he was literally a KKK member, that wouldn't be a reason to not support him as president. I don't know what kind of delusion leads to this type of person. Like, how delusional do you have to be to sit here and say, quote unquote, this your own words were, even if I were to admit that he's a bold, mask off racist, full on racist, you know, like a KKK member or some shit, why would that not be any reason to stop supporting him as president? Like, how crazy and stupid can a person be?
I never said that. You're just like throwing in this KKK narrative. Nobody said he was a KKK member.
No,
That's
you
crazy.
said if I were to admit that he was this mask-off, bold racist. Okay, well, a group of the mask-off, bold racists, okay, they are the KKK members. So I mean, you're basically saying even if he were to be a KKK member, okay, you'd still support him as president. It's almost like you want him to wear that hood. I mean, you want him to use the office of the presidency as a weapon to hate and divide and make the material conditions for Americans worse, and to subjugate large portions of our of the demographic of people in this country to very, very terrible conditions. Like, why are you such a terrible person that wants to prey on the downfall of this country?
You can't like actually think it's okay to equivocate being a KKK member to being racist. Because if that was your argument, then you'd have to argue
That one
that
second.
like
That's
all
not
of
what
America is racist.
that's not what I said. Okay, you said even if he were to be this bold mask off racist, that would be no reason to stop supporting him. An example of somebody who is a bold mask off racist would be a KKK member.
Well, that's not what I meant by like a bold racist.
Okay, so then what did you mean
I
by
was
a bold
arguing
racist?
that like someone who goes out and just like confidently says the N-word, which is literally most of Americans.
So you're telling me
Talking about most
that
of
if you went on
America.
Truth
Like,
Social
what the
tomorrow
fuck are you talking
and just
about?
posted that
She's
the
saying
Obamas
everybody's racist
are
now.
very
Are you
violent,
racist,
hard
baby? You go out and
R's,
just say
you
the
would still
fucking
support
N-word?
him as president.
Like what? She
You're
said,
just
which
like
is most of
twisting
America.
I
everything
don't
say
think that
to
over.
the-
Bitch, you're
I don't
speaking-
think
no, for
that
real,
over
bitch, you're
50%
speaking for
of
yourself.
Americans.
She said most of
are
America?
boldly and
Bitch,
confidently
you say the
explicitly
fucking N-word.
racist
That's what you're
and
trying to
call
say, right?
black people
That's what I got
hard
when
Rs.
she first
Now
started
tell
talking.
me, if Donald
I
Trump
said,
did that
bitch, are you
tomorrow,
trying
would
to
you still
say
support him?
that? That's what you do. Like, you didn't hear me say that?
If you went on Truth Social and called
You
Obama
can
and
listen
his
to her.
wife
She
hard
sounds
R's,
like a
no.
fucking racist, don't she?
I don't care. You
But
fucking.
what I was saying is, you go out, you see
Can you hear her saying it, though?
That's the
Hispanic
question that
people,
I
you
asked
see
you.
white people
Sorry, I had to
confidently
turn off my
saying
camera
it, so it
again
makes
to,
no difference who
one moment.
says
I had to
it.
turn my camera off again to blow my nose. Can you answer
By the way,
the
y'all, if
question?
you're on YouTube, make sure y'all hit that mother freaking sub button. I appreciate y'all
I
so
said
much.
no, like that's to the extreme. That's like
You literally just said that what you mean by mask off racist is saying the N-word. After saying that you would still support Trump as president if he was a mask off racist. So wouldn't it follow that you would support Donald Trump as president if he called black people the N-word? And then
you're
this
twisting
argument that
everything I
other white
say to
people
the
do it,
extreme.
therefore
Like
it's okay for Trump to do it is bullshit, dude. No. Some white people are neo-Nazis. That wouldn't mean that it's okay if Trump was a neo-Nazi. Some white people are like child rapists. That wouldn't mean that it'd be okay if Donald Trump is a child rapist. Some white people are school shooters.
argue
That
that
wouldn't
he
mean that it's
is,
okay
so.
if Donald Trump was a school shooter. Like, listen to yourself. The president is supposed to function in accordance with very benevolent norms to fight for the betterment of this country. And reducing, what you believe
That's
to
what he's
be
doing.
the pre-qualifications required to be president down to, well, whatever white people do in society at large is bullshit. And then you just said that's what he's doing. You just admitted, not even 3 minutes ago, that Donald Trump is a mask-off, bold racist. How can you argue that Donald Trump is simultaneously a mask-off, bold racist while upholding that he's adhering to benevolent principles to make this country better? I do not believe that mask-off racists can ever make this country better.
No.
What if that mask off, quote unquote, bold racist cured cancer? What if that mask off, bold racist gave everybody like 1 mil to spend?
What the
Would that
fuck?
make the country better?
Mask off, bold racists. Wouldn't give everyone
You're still saying
1 million to
racist,
spend,
bitch.
because that would include giving black
Hypothetically, you
people
love
$1
doing
million,
those.
$1 million to spend. Mask off, bold racists. Wouldn't cure